यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना। जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद। जय राधा नील माधव राधे जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान। जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय। जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव। निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरक्षि श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन विविध संस्थापकाचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरक्षि श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशनल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की इस्कॉन सियाटल यात्रा की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So today morning we will discuss the glories of Shrimat Bhagwatam and how Shrimat Bhagwatam helps us regulate our desires. What are the things which the Shrimat Bhagwatam offers to anyone who connects with the Bhagwatam? So there are various benefits, various benedictions, various blessings which we receive by associating with the Shrimat Bhagwatam. When Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad, our worshipable Acharya, the senior most of the 6 Goswamis, he was gifted the Shrimad Bhagwatam by a Brahman who arrived at his doorstep. He was overwhelmed with that gift of the Shrimad Bhagwatam, and he composed several verses in glorification of the Shrimad Bhagwatam. And in one of those verses he says, Madeka bandho mat sangi mat guru mat mahadana मत निस्तारक महाभाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते. Shrimad Bhagwatam is my best friend, well-wisher, bandhu. Shrimad Bhagwatam is my intimate associate, sangi. Mat Guru, Shrimad Bhagwatam is my spiritual teacher. Mat Mahadhana, Shrimad Bhagwatam is my greatest wealth. Mat Nistaraka, Shrimad Bhagwatam is my deliverer. Mahabhagya, Shrimad Bhagwatam is my greatest fortune. Madanand, and Shrimad Bhagwatam is the cause of my greatest pleasure. And therefore I offer my respectful obeisances to the Shrimad Bhagavatam. Shrimat Bhagavata Arthanam Asvadai Rasikai Saha Sajati Ashaye Snigdhe Sadhu Sangasvato Vare. Srila Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that the meaning of Shrimad Bhagavatam must be understood with asvado rasikai saha, with those who have the taste, who aspire to understand the Shrimad Bhagavatam, the rasikas. Sajatiya ashaye, who have similar mentality, desire, intention. Snigdhe, with whom one develop affection. Snigdhe, the word sneha comes from the Sanskrit word which means ghee. Ghee has the quality of burning while offering light. So when one is willing to sacrifice one's own interests to fulfill the desire and the interests of others, that is called snigdha. Snigdha means one has that level of intimacy with the master, with the one we are serving, that one does not even notice the pain one is going through, because one is so absorbed and obsessed and focused on giving pleasure to the object of our service. Swarupa kohe ei bola bhadra bhattacharya tomate susnigdha bada pandit sadhu arya. When Lord Chaitanya is going for South India, after coming back from South India tour, when he wants to go to Puri, from Puri to Vrindavan, so one attempt he makes to go via Bengal, and there Sanatan Goswami stops him and tells him, no, this is not, you are going with too many people. Durlabha durgamasai nirjana Vrindavan ekaki jaiba kiba sange ekajan. Vrindavan is a very secluded, very worshipable place. It is a very confidential place. Durlabha, durgama. It is not easy to access Vrindavan. Nirjana Vrindavan. Vrindavan is there so that you can experience your direct relationship with Krishna. And you have to be in the mood of solitude, focus, absorption. If you are surrounded by millions of people and followers who may not have the similar kind of seriousness as you, their presence will distract you from your bhajan. Ekaki jaiba. You should go alone. Kiba shange ekajan, maybe one person at the most. So that is Sanatan Goswami's first meeting with Lord Chaitanya. And in the first meeting with Lord Chaitanya, he is initiating them. And Lord Chaitanya says that Aji hoite duhar naam rupa sanatan dainya chhad tomar dainya phate moraman. I initiate you and give you the name Rupa and Sanatan. Just after initiation, he is telling him, Sanatan and Rupa, Lord Chaitanya tells, my first instruction to you is give up your humility. That was the caliber of those disciples. Today there is initiation happening, so I am just remembering that it is very difficult to even imagine the caliber of Rupa and Sanatan, where Lord Chaitanya had to tell them, give up your humility, because your humility is too much. It is breaking my heart. like that. Somebody asked Radhanath Swami after Diksha, Maharaj, how can I remain humble? Maharaj said, first become humble. Then only you can think of remaining. So, Rupa and Sanatan were so humble, but still, when they saw there was a need to share something with Lord Chaitanya, they did not hesitate. And with utter humility and being the well-wisher of Lord Chaitanya, Sanatan Goswami tells Lord Chaitanya, I don't think you should go. You should go to Vrindavan via this route with so many people. So Lord Chaitanya could have rebuffed him or neglected this, and Lord Chaitanya could have said, who are you to tell me? For so many years I have been planning and dreaming to go to Vrindavan, and I have made my plans. Already 5 years have passed since I took sannyas. I could not go to Vrindavan, and now first time I am meeting you, and the first thing you are telling me is don't go to Vrindavan. But Lord Chaitanya also understood that Vrindavan basically means being the servant of the devotees and being submissive to the devotees' will. Yadyapi swatantra prabhu nahe nivaran, bhakta ichha vina prabhu na kore gaman. Lord Chaitanya was swatantra, fully independent. Yadyapi swatantra prabhu nahe nivaran. Nobody can stop him. He is the Supreme Lord. The same force which is there behind Lord Ram, Lord Narsingadev, Lord Krishna in all the past times. He has all that power. Nahe nivaran. But Lord Chaitanya wanted to demonstrate that Vrindavan is only revealed to the submissive and not to the skilled. And bhakta ichha vina prabhu no kore gaman. Without the desire of the devotees, he was not willing to go to Vrindavan. And he agreed and accepted Sanatan Goswami's proposal. And so Lord Chaitanya comes back to Puri. And then again, this is Dashera of 1515, Lord Chaitanya embarks on his journey. And he wants to go alone. But again there is pressure from Swarup Damodar Goswami. You should take one associate with you on your journey to Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya says, I already took associate for South India. Because of your pressure. I didn't want to take. You forced me to take. And his name was Kala Krishnadas. He was supposed to be my servant. I ended up becoming his servant. So I don't want to take anybody. I want to go alone. So that time Swarup Damodar Goswami quotes this. Swarupa kohe ei balabhadra bhattacharya tomate susnigdha bada pandit sadhu arya. My dear Lord, I want to introduce to you a very, very capable, ideal servant. The ideal servant has 4 characteristics. And this person, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, has all those 4 characteristics. First, Susnigdha. He has intimacy, affection and feeling for the well-being and the interests of the master. That is called Susnigdha, intimacy. The feeling has to be there. And number 2, along with the feelings, when the master wants something to be executed and to be done, that servant must have the intelligence. Pandit means he must have the intelligence to make the right choices. Intelligence to take that feeling and transform it into an action which is pleasing to the master. Third, Sadhu, not only is the person having intimacy and intelligence, if that person is representing the master, he must have integrity, which is synergy between his thoughts, words, and actions. So the synergy must be there. If the person is speaking something, doing something, and thinking something else, then there is lack of integrity. So therefore, he must have perfect integrity, and that's what Balabhadra Bhattacharya, that's called sadhu. Sadhu means he is experiencing the outpouring of all the divine qualities which are part of the soul. The soul's qualities. Sushila Sahishnu Shanta Vadanya Gambhir Madhura Vachana Madhura Cheshta Mahadhir. He is well behaved, tolerant, Shanta, perfectly at peace, Vadanya, very merciful, Gambhir, very deep, Madhur Vachan, very, very sweet in one's speech, Madhur Cheshta, sweet in one's dealings, Mahadhir, very sober. Sabar Samman Karta Korin Sabar Hit, Kautilya Matsarya Himsa Najanita Rachit. Always being respectful to others. Koren Sabar Hit, always contemplating others' benefit. And free from the influence of Kautilya, fault finding. Matsarya, envy. Himsa, the tendency for violence. Violence basically means the tendency to pull down and bring down others. So one is free from all of these, and therefore he is filled with all the divine qualities. That person is called sadhu. Sadhavo sadhu bhushanam, ornament. He has been awarded the medals of victory for his gallant fight against Maya. So these are the victory medals given by Krishna when he sees a sincere sadhaka struggling, subduing the temptations and prioritizing the purpose of their life over the pleasures which are offered to them every moment. When one continues to deny the pleasure, to neglect the pleasure, to overlook the pleasure, and continue to prioritize one's purpose over pleasure, moment to moment, that battle is what is being observed by the Lord. So therefore the Gita was spoken on a battlefield, because we are faced with every moment a battle. And the net result of how we are able to be victorious in that battle is seen by the Paramatma within the heart. And the medals of victory are offered to us in the form of these divine qualities. So the divine qualities have to be earned. They cannot be advertised. They cannot be superimposed. Right? Automatically, they will manifest when there is the blessings of the devotees. Srila Prabhupada, when he was in one of the cities in South India, some scholar came and then he started complaining to Prabhupada that I see that your disciples, they're trying to chant Sanskrit shlokas, but pronunciation and their way of recitation is not proper. They don't know Sanskrit. Prabhupada said, well, if they don't know Sanskrit and they are coming from a different culture, it is your duty to teach them Sanskrit. If you don't like how they pronounce Sanskrit, you stay in the temple with us. Rather than finding fault that they are not chanting properly, you stay, teach them and correct this. And then Prabhupada added, and when you stay in the temple, you cannot drink coffee. That scholar looked for some time and said, Swamiji, their pronunciation is not bad. So, Srila Prabhupada went across the whole world and connected people to Krishna consciousness who had no previous exposure to Krishna consciousness, and engaged them in creating a spiritual revolution. It is unheard of in the history of Vedic Sanatan Dharma that this kind of impact is created in such a short duration of time. And therefore, the devotees who connected with Srila Prabhupada had that intimacy, feeling for Srila Prabhupada. They had the intelligence how to spread Krishna consciousness. They had the integrity and try to the best of their abilities in their early 20s, coming from a very different background of habits, but tried their best. And then the fourth is Arya, which basically means the servant who is representing the master must have proper interpersonal dealings, because he is representing the master. And therefore, one cannot say, I love only the master. Everybody else, I will fight. No. One has to have the proper way to represent the master. So the intimacy, intelligence, integrity and interpersonal dealings, if they are there in a sadhaka, then such a sadhaka has very high chances of pleasing the person whom they are serving. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to the proposal of Sarup Damodar Goswami that I will take Balabhadra Bhattacharya. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes with Balabhadra Bhattacharya, and they reach the middle of the Jharikhand forest. And in the Jharikhand forest, Lord Chaitanya in the night is embracing Balabhadra Bhattacharya, thanking him. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya is there, and one more assistant to Balabhadra is there. And Lord Chaitanya is just sitting with them around a fire. And Lord Chaitanya says, my dear Balabhadra Bhattacharya, I want to share with you the secret of happiness in the midst of this ferocious jungle, in the middle of the night, surrounded by the sound of the lions and tigers roaring. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya is already shivering, not because of cold, because of fear of all the unknown around. Right? We become fearful when we don't get a reply to our booking request. And the hotel says not confirmed. So not confirmed gives us shivers. Here there is forget hotel. They are in the middle of the forest at night. It's not a forest reserve made by the government. This is actual forest where there is all the wild out there in the open. And so Lord Chaitanya says, Kripara samudra dina hine dayamoy, Krishna kripa bina kona sukha nahi hoy. Lord Chaitanya says, people in this world are bewildered about their understanding a narrative of joy. They are bewildered. They have no idea how to experience pleasure. What is the source of pleasure? And Lord Chaitanya says, the source of pleasure is not that you successfully seek and search pleasure. The source of pleasure is not access to objects of pleasure, but the success and pleasure formula is not access to objects of pleasure, but alignment of one's desires with the desires of Krishna. Kripara Samudra, and who's Krishna? The ocean of mercy. Dina Hine Dayamoy, who's always very, very compassionate to the fallen and the unqualified and to the struggling. Krishna Kripa Bina Kona Sukha Nahi Hoye. To get the mercy of Krishna is the only cause of pleasure. And what does it mean to get the mercy of Krishna? To see every episode of prosperity and adversity as a gift from Krishna. Pride in success and moroseness in defeat is both symptoms of stupidity. And therefore, when one is successful, rather than becoming proud, one sees this is a gift from Krishna, Krishna Prasad. When there is defeat, when there is failure, when there is adversity, that also one sees as Krishna Prasad. And therefore, Krishna Kripa Bina Kona Sukha Nahi Hoye. Mahavipattau samsare yah smaret madhusudana vipattau tasya sampatti bhavet ityaha shankara. Whether in vipatti or sampatti, when one remembers Krishna means you see this has happened by His grace. Yah smaret madhusudana. Madhusudana means the destroyer of the demon Madhu. And what does Madhu represent? Madhu represents ego. Madhu klivam chamadvike krite karma shubha shubhe bhaktanam karmanam chaiva sudanam madhusudana. There are two things which are very sweet. The ego is sweet and honey is sweet. And honey has two effects. It gives sweetness and it also gives intoxication when taken in larger quantity. So therefore, just like the honey is sweet and intoxicating, the ego is also sweet and intoxicating. When I say ego is sweet means when someone glorifies us, it appears very sweet. Prabhu, only you can do this. So our external response is, no, Prabhu. All Krishna's grace. Internal is, yes. You have perfectly understood me. Somebody should record it also. So Prabhupada was going for a tour, about to catch a flight, and one lady was cooking for Prabhupada samosas. So Prabhupada entered the kitchen and ate one samosa from the box which was being packed for his journey. Then he ate one more. So the lady was looking at Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this is for your journey. Prabhupada said, I can't eat now. No, you can eat. How many will you eat? Prabhupada said, more than you can make. So she was very blissful and she thought, maybe he likes my cooking so much. So she thought it's a good opportunity to get my cooking certified in front of other God sisters and God brothers. So she said, Prabhupada, who's your favorite cook? Prabhupada said, myself. So ego is very sweet and intoxicating. Krishna kripa vina kon sukh nahi hoye. So without Krishna's grace, one cannot be happy. So the whole idea of this is the first principle of the Shrimad Bhagwatam. How will you get this change in your narrative? Current narrative in conditioned state is, when there is success, we feel joyful, and when there is failure, we feel frustrated and angry. How will this change happen? So that is the first principle the Bhagavatam is addressing. Association of devotees. The Vaishnava Satsanga is supposed to help us transform our vision. And that's what is described in the Shrimad Bhagavatam. Very beginning is by exposing us to the life of Maharaj Parikshit, supremely fortunate to have received Krishna's darshan in the womb. And what is the name given? Tasmat namna Vishnu rata iti loke bhavishyati. Na sandeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. Name is given Vishnu rata. Vishnu rata means one who is protected by Lord Vishnu. What a great fortune. And he is called also Na sandeho mahabhaga, supremely fortunate. Mahabhagavato mahan, and great devotee. But then that person is cursed to die at the peak of youth in 7 days and 7 nights for a very minor, apparently minor insult. He put a dead snake around Shamik Rishi. He didn't put a live snake. If you put a live snake, still you can consider. He put a dead snake. So that dead snake was not having the potency to do any physical harm, but it was an improper etiquette. It was an insult. So that putting of the dead snake had no potency to cause injury. It could only have caused insult. And that insult was perceived also not by Shamak Rishi but by his son Shringi. And so, in a moment, all of his plans are cut down and he is faced with death. Tammopayantam pratiyantu vipra Ganga cha devi dhrita chittam ishi Dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshakova Dashatvalam gayata Vishnu gatha. So through Maharaj Parikshit, the Shrimad Bhagavatam is revealing that when you are faced with calamity, and understand that the education system and all the degrees is only helping you deal with problem. There is no body of knowledge which is helping you cope with calamity. Problem means that which can be solved. Calamity is that which can not be reversed. You only have to tolerate. If your son or some boy fails in an exam, that's a problem. You put some tuition or this or that, he will pass. But if the boy goes on a tour or something like that and has an accident and he dies, that's a calamity. So what Arjuna experienced with Abhimanyu was a calamity. And so the amazing difference between Arjuna and Dronacharya is Dronacharya did not lose his son. He only heard about the news of his son's death and he became hopeless. Arjuna actually lost his son. He became to some extent emotional. But he did not lose hope and continued fighting. So therefore there is no body of knowledge which is helping us cope with calamity. And the Shrimad Bhagwatam is that literature, when heard in the association of devotees, empowers you to cope with calamity, situations which cannot be reversed, only have to be tolerated. And each one of us compulsorily have to go through episodes of calamity. Nobody is an exception. Therefore, the world is aware of calamity, but the world is not having any body of knowledge to prepare a person for calamity. And that's why our founder Acharya spent sleepless nights giving commentary on the Shrimad Bhagwatam, which will help you cope with the calamity. Do not react. Do not engage in retribution, but engage in a response. Not reaction, but response. And that is how Maharaj Parikshit, when given this news that at the peak of youth, you are going to be now stripped away of everything, he says, let Mother Ganga be the witness. Vijopasrishta kuhakas takshakova. Let that snake bird takshak come and bite me. Common people in this world on the material platform are afraid and paranoid of destruction of their body. But a spiritualist, the difference between materialist and spiritualist is afraid of destruction of the body, but the spiritualist is afraid of the distraction of the mind. For a spiritualist, the distraction of the mind is a greater calamity than the destruction of the body. And Parikshit Maharaj spoke this when social media was not there. So just imagine what kind of calamity we are putting ourselves on a regular basis. And so he says, Dashatvalam Gayata Vishnu Gatha, continue glorifying Krishna every moment. And then he says, in case I am not able to remember the Lord, and because of various reasons, if I have to take birth again, in that scenario, I have 3 prayers which I want the Lord to fulfill. And Srila Prabhupada says, when we come in front of their lordships, the deities, we are not coming here for something superficial. We are coming here for prayer. When you go to the bank may have a juice bar, but you are not going to the bank to drink juice. You are going to the bank to withdraw your money, not somebody else's money. You are going to the bank to withdraw your money. And if somebody goes to the bank and just drinks orange juice and comes back, and the family says, "Kahan hai paisa?" Good question. The juice was so good I forgot. So the majority of people who just come to the temple and then ask, please give some wealth, please give some property, please give promotion, this, that. They are just coming all the way to the bank, drinking orange juice and going away. So they have to come and ask for the real stuff, which he is ready to give. So Radha and Krishna are standing with some product to give you, and you are asking something else and going away, making them laugh. So therefore, what Parikshit Maharaj is praying, that should be the prayer of every pilgrim who comes to the 2 million plus temples in India. What should be that prayer? Punascha bhuyat bhagavati ananta rati prasangascha tadashriyeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitristu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. First, may I develop unlimited attraction towards Krishna. Now you may say, Hare Krishna is already all attractive, Baba. He is all attractive. But I am not getting attracted. So I must develop what? Attraction towards Krishna. Bhagavati Ananta Rati. Unlimited attraction towards Krishna. Very important. Prabhupada asked a question one time. What is the difference between Krishna and Maya? So devotee said Krishna is attractive. Prabhupada said Maya is not. He said no, Maya is also attractive. Prabhupada said both Krishna and Maya are attractive. But when you get attracted to Krishna, you experience joy. And when you are attracted to Maya, you will experience misery. So Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk, Venice beach, and the devotees look at the ocean and said, tell Prabhupada, Prabhupada, the ocean looks so beautiful. Prabhupada said, yes, from a distance. When you go near the ocean will drag you and drown you. Maya is also like that, looks beautiful from a distance. And you come near, Maya will drag you. Right? In our Puri Yatra many years ago, we had experience of huge waves. Waves were lashing left, right and center, and Radhanath Maharaj was swimming and swimming. And he was not coming out only. And when the servant went and asked him, why you are not coming out? Maharaj said, my gamcha has been taken away. How will I come out? People are standing with camera outside. So the servant went and gave another gamcha. He came out and he said, when I entered the ocean, I was a Gaudiya sannyasi. I would have come out as Naga Baba. And Maharaj said, now immediately announce to the devotees, today our plan is changed. No swimming in the ocean today. No ocean bath. And when you make last minute changes, it's not easy to please the devotees. So devotees were very upset. Arey, what is this? You first said we came all the way just so that we can swim, and now you're telling no. Arey. Ocean is in a very rough mode today. Very, very dangerous. So there was a lot of complaints and people were not happy. But they agreed. But one devotee, right in front of my eyes, he started entering. I said, कहाँ जा रहा है? वही जो आप देख रहे हो. So I said, you didn't hear the announcement? He said, I heard the announcement. That's why I'm going. I said, Baba, you're risking your life. He said, huh? You don't know how expert swimmer I am. And you guys are only doing yatra management and making announcements. You don't understand the power of each devotee. So I grew up next to the ocean, So years and years, I can teach people how to swim in these kind of situations. बाएं हाथ का खेल है मेरे लिए. So you relax. See me in action there. He entered inside and then he was all doing all kinds of somersault, this way, that way, showing off. And he was really good also. Then after some time, the ocean was better than him. Started pulling him inside. So he initially tried some gymnastics, didn't work. Then he became paranoid. Jaan pe aa gayi. So he started raising his hands, asking for help. Devotees thought he's saying Hari Bol. So I said, Baba, if you delay further, he will become Hari Bol. So the lifeguard entered inside, caught hold of him and brought him out. Saved him. And brought out this water from inside his stomach and this and that. He was like gasping for breath. And then I looked at him and said, hey, this Nalia lifeguard has saved your life, give some donation. He took out 150 rupees and gave. I said, Baba, at least give 500. He has saved your life. He said, no, Radheshyam Prabhu book says body cost 150 rupees. Discover yourself. He was quoting, discover yourself. The cost of the body is 150 rupees. Then I said, in spite of so much of warning, why you made this attempt to enter? He said, I am so expert in this skill, I could not imagine that I will ever fail or get trapped in the area of my expertise. And that is Maya's expertise, to make us think like that. And therefore, how do you know which area you're expert in? Where you start thinking, for this seva, I don't need anybody's help. When the mind starts revealing like that, that is the sign that Maya is trapping us. And so the data shows every year people who drown while swimming in the water, majority are expert swimmers who drown. Those who don't know swimming hardly drown because they hardly enter the water. You need to have a pre-qualification for drowning. You have to enter also. So therefore, what Parikshit Maharaj is praying, may I develop attraction towards you, my dear Lord. How will that attraction develop? When we are in the mood of humility. Otherwise, that pride does not make us feel attracted towards him. We just think people should be attracted to me. Why should I be attracted to him? So the question is, okay, how will that humility come? The second prayer he says, Rati prasangascha tad ashrayeshu. That humility will only come when I come in the association of devotees. That Sangha will gradually enable that humility. Somebody asked me, Prabhuji, please tell me how I can become humble. I said, continue serving in ISKCON. Humility guaranteed. How many of you have that realization? Whoever you may be, but just be in the association and continue serving. Automatically, you will be definitely, 2025 you are more humble than you were in 24. For sure. Even though in your career you must have gone here and your house may have gone from 2-bedroom to 4-bedroom or this or that. But maar kha ke nikle. So that is the very important element. Prabhupada says that devotee should never think he can advance alone. Always in that association. Gaurangera sangi gane nitya siddha kori mane sejaya brajendra sutapash sejaya brajendra sutapash. When we consider the devotees to be Lord Chaitanya's associate, nitya siddha kori mane, just accepting, appreciating and acknowledging the devotees as our saviors. That is enough to open the doors of the spiritual world. Our entrance into the spiritual world is not dependent on our actions. our entrance into the spiritual world is dependent more on the acknowledgement of other devotees' advancement. So sometimes in the material world, the focus is on advancing my actions. But in spiritual life, you have to be keen that let me acknowledge and appreciate other devotees' advancement. And therefore, when Parikshit, our Pratapadar Maharaj is seeing Lord Chaitanya in every circle of the 7 circles during the Rath Yatra. So Kashi Mishra is glorifying him. Tomar bhagyer nahi sima. Right? There is no end to your bhagya. Why the bhagya has come? Because Lord Chaitanya is pleased with you. Sakshate deya dekha parokshe to daya ke bujhite pare chaitanya chandrer maya. Lord Chaitanya revealed himself to Pratapadar Maharaj because he was pleased with his humility. He saw him sweeping, giving up his upadhi. And that gave Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the confidence that I can reveal Krishna Prema to him. And therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita at Balagandi, when Lord Chaitanya is resting, Sarva Bhauma Upadeshe Chadirajavesh Akale Vaishnava Veshe Korila Pravesh. On the instruction of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Pratapadar Maharaj gives up his royal clothes and takes up the mood of a humble devotee. And when he comes and offers the prayers in front of Lord Chaitanya of Gopigit, Prabhu kahe ke tumi korila morahit achambite asi piyao Krishna lila amrit. Lord Chaitanya says, who are you? And you are doing so much of benefit to me. You are my best friend and well-wisher. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, many times you may be obsessed that I am very skilled in this service and therefore Krishna will be impressed with the demonstration of my skills. And you are in anxiety. Oh, this other devotee seems to be more skilled than me. But all this is ridiculous calculation. It has no locus standi in the association of devotees. Because Krishna is hardly impressed with any skill. Krishna is impressed with your submission and your sincerity. And Pratapadar Maharaj's skill set was that of being an administrator and a fighter. But Lord Chaitanya became impressed with his sweeping, which he had not practiced also. It was not that every day Pratapadar Maharaj took jhadu in his hand and there were a group of people coaching him. Aise maro jhadu. Aise maro. He just did. That impressed Lord Chaitanya more than all of his lifelong training and skills. Purva seva dekhi tare kripa upajila anusandhan bina kripa prasad korila. Lord Chaitanya, it is described, saw the previous seva he had done. Purva seva dekhi. What is that? Took humble position. Anusandhan vina, without introduction and details, Lord Chaitanya had determined at that moment only, I will give prema to this. Because he did this. That's it. So you may be focused on doing this service and that service and this one and that one and everything. And you may have done some small insignificant seva to some devotee, you may not even remember. But that may fetch you more points in the Lord's calculation, because He is seeing the attitude. Aiche dekh chaitanya bal, kriptara anusandhan bina koroy safal. So Kaviraj Goswami says, when Lord has decided to bless you, nothing can stop. No power can stop. And all of this happens only when we are blessed by the devotees. So the attraction which Parikshit is praying for, may I develop towards the Lord attraction. That attraction will only come in the association, by serving in that association. And then the third prayer Parikshit Maharaj makes, Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anantarati prasangascha tadashriyeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitri astu. May I develop deep friendship towards other souls and bestow the grace of Krishna to others. So therefore, attraction, association, and third is called access. May I become the instrument to give access to the unlimited conditioned souls to the lotus feet of Krishna. Access to bhakti, access to bhajan. Bhajaner madhye sreshta navabida bhakti, Krishna prema Krishna dite dhore mahashakti. Tara madhye sarva sreshta nama sankirtan, nir aparadhe nama loile pai premadhan. How do we give that access? By teaching conditioned souls who are in ignorance the process of bhajan. Bhajaner madhye sreshta navavida bhakti. Teaching ninefold process. Krishna prema Krishna dite dhore mahashakti, because it has the power to bestow prema. And out of the ninefold, which is the most important, Taramadhya Sarvasreshta Nama Sankirtan. But not just Nama Sankirtan, Nir Aparadhe Nama Loile Pai Premadhan. When you do offenseless chanting of that. Na tathahi aghavan rajan puyeta tapa adibi yatha krishnarpita prana tat purusha nishevaya. So the sixth canto describes how does that access is given to the new person. How is an ignorant soul given access? He is aghavan, full of sin. He is full of sinful reactions. Na tathahi aghavan rajan puyet. How will he become purified? Tapa adebhi na. Not through tapasya, not through austerities, not through charity, not through all these other things. They may do all kinds of things that will not become the cause for their purification. What will purify them? Yatha Krishna arpita prana. That person, the conditioned soul, has to come in contact with a devotee who has accepted Krishna and given his life to that devotee. One who has accepted Krishna as his life. Krishna arpita prana. One who has offered their emotions to Krishna. That means find a devotee. Tat Purusha. Once you have found and identified such a devotee who has given his heart to Krishna, Tat Purusha Nishevaya. Nishevaya means serve. Then serve such a devotee. And that is what is prachar all about. Giving access to ignorant conditioned souls to the process of bhakti. So that is what is Parikshit Maharaj aspiring when he is praying to all the sages surrounding him. Let me have that association of devotees. And Parikshit is not hearing the Shrimad Bhagwatam alone. He is hearing in the association of all the sages, all the devotees. And so, Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadyo shuddhyanti vaigrahaha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shaucha sanadibhi. Parikshit is saying, O Shukadeva Goswami, to get darshan of such an advanced devotee as yourself is such a privilege. Yesham samsmaranat, just by remembering personalities as you, sadyo, instantly, shuddhyanti, one becomes purified. Vaigrihaha, one's house become purified. Kim punar darshana sparsha, what to speak of having darshan or even touching your lotus feet. Pada shauchasanadibi, or doing the pada prakshalan and having that water upon one's head. How much more purifying that will be. And therefore, Maharaj Parikshit says, Api me Bhagavan Prita Krishna Pandusata Priya Paitrasat Sevya Prityartham Yat Kotrasyata Bandhava. I am blessed by Krishna because I am in the Vaishnav family. Prabhupada says, you want to serve your family to the best ability? Become a devotee of Krishna. When someone becomes a sincere devotee of Krishna, that one devotee's sincerity is enough to attract Krishna's glance upon the family for several generations. And therefore he says, I have received the association of Shukadeva Goswami because Krishna is pleased with Pandavas. Therefore he has sent. Yat gotrasyata bandhava. And Prabhupada says, when you try to serve your family, you can only serve your family in this lifetime till death. Either their death or your death. But how will you serve beyond your lifetime, beyond their lifetime? We cannot serve. Krishna, he can take that responsibility. And therefore Krishna takes care of several generations of this family, of a devotee. And therefore the best service you can do is bringing your family members to the association of devotees. That is the best gift one can give. So that is what is described here. That the Shrimad Bhagwatam is being spoken to a king whose lifespan has been shortened drastically, but is very, very happy and joyful to be in the association. So in Kali Yuga, when people are in distress, they tend to go alone, and they tend to go in solitude. But Parikshit is showing exactly the opposite. When he is experiencing this calamity, he is surrounding himself with devotees. Therefore, when you are in difficulty, don't run away from the association. Come closer to the association, which is very important. And so he says, Dhruva Maharaj is asking this prayer, Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvai me prasango bhuyat ananta mahatam amala shayanam yenonja solbana muru bhagavat bhavabdhim neshye bhavat gunakathamrta panamatta Dhruv Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, people are aspiring for your darshan. I got darshan of Prishnikarma, I got your darshan right in front of me at the age of 5. One may think that's the highest accomplishment. He says, no. I am missing something in spite of having your darshan. What am I missing? I am missing the association of devotees, because Narad Muni gave me the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He gave me the process, but he did not give me the peer group with whom I can practice. So here is Dhruv Maharaj, who perfected the practice and the process, and even at the stage of perfection, he is experiencing a pain. And that pain is the absence of a peer group. And therefore, rather than finding fault with the devotees, we should consider the great luxury we have when we have that association of devotees. Vaishnavera gunagrahi na dekhai dosh, koi mane vakya kore Vaishnava santosh. Do not see the faults in devotees. Be gunagrahi, see the good qualities. Koi mane vakya, with mind, body and words, try to please the devotees. Knowing that my ability to remember Krishna will depend on how these devotees are pleased with me. My ability to remember Krishna will not be dependent on what I do, but it will be dependent more on how these devotees bless me. And therefore, this prayer of Dhruv Maharaj is very, very crucial and important, where he's saying, I want this association. Somebody came to Prabhupada and started complaining, Srila Prabhupada, this devotee did like this, that devotee did like this devotee did like this. Complaining so many things. Prabhupada said, wait. Right now in ISKCON, who is devotee? I am the only devotee. All of you are just trying to follow the process. So therefore, complaining, if it becomes part of our culture, then our mentality will become like that of vulture. And therefore, we have to learn how to be tolerant in the association of devotees. That association is a double-edged sword. Who has brought us closer to Krishna? Devotee. And who will take us away from Krishna? Devotee. Because devotees attract us, and then devotees irritate us. So devotees become attractive. Devotees also become the cause of our committing offenses. So therefore, there is no lack of talent in Krishna consciousness society. ISKCON has unlimited talent, but limited tolerance. So we have to focus on how the talented people become more tolerant. And therefore, rather than focusing on enhancing your talent, focus on enhancing your tolerance. Tan titikshassu bharata. Which is very important in the long run. Prabhupada's one disciple, his name was Guru Kripa Swami. 1971, he was a brahmachari, 21-year-old. And he was doing life membership cultivation in Kalba Devi market. afternoon time, 2:30. Those days, shopkeepers would close their business in the afternoon, 2-3 hours. And there was no WhatsApp and social media for entertainment. So everybody would assemble at somebody's shop. 2-3 shopkeepers would come together and do chit-chatting. So they were chit-chatting. So he entered. And he said, I am representing ISKCON, Prabhupada, and this and that from America. I want you to become life member. This is the life membership. Fees, 1 rupees. And you'll get the Bhagavad Gita and other books. And then so this 3-4 shopkeepers thought, okay, Western boy wearing saffron, saying something about Gita, good entertainment in the afternoon. So one of the shopkeepers said, so who's the hero of the Mahabharata? And he said, Arjun. And this shopkeeper said, no, you are in ignorance. It is not Arjun, it is Karna. Karna is the real hero. And in 1971, Prabhupada had not yet released any Mahabharata or spoken too much detail, and he had never heard of this. Guru Kripa Swami never heard of Karna. He thought suddenly from where this fellow has come. Hero has to be Arjuna only, because that's what Prabhupada said. So he said, no, you're wrong. Arjuna is the hero of Mahabharata. And the shopkeepers are, hey Baba, you guys just know a little bit. We are from India, we know a lot. Karna is the real hero. So he was getting confused. How come? My data cannot be wrong. I have always heard from Prabhupada it is Arjuna. He said, no, it is Arjuna. He says, no, Karna. And there were 3 of them. So then when the debate became a little more heightened after almost 15-20 minutes, he lost it. He became angry. He was young also and coming from a little aggressive background. So he took his fist and brought it 2 inches away from this man's nose. And he said, the hero is Arjuna or not? And it was right there. Just tell me, who is the hero? And this guy got bewildered. He looked at him and said, hey, you are a disciple of Swami Prabhupada. You chant Hare Krishna, you are wearing saffron. You have no control over your anger. And Guru Kripa Swami said, if 2 years back you had asked me this same question, my hand would have already gone before meeting Prabhupada. But the hand is still 2 inches away, is a testimony of Srila Prabhupada's glory, that I got so much tolerance. So tolerance is a relative thing. And therefore, the sadhakas should be focused on progress, not perfection. Because every day you will end not with perfection, but with progress. Our goal is perfection, but doesn't mean that every devotee I come across in my sangha will be perfect. So therefore you should be on the path to perfection, expecting every devotee surrounding you to be filled with imperfection. So when you are on the journey with the realistic expectation, then ultimately it's easier for you to negotiate the imperfection. When you expect imperfection and you see imperfection, it is not bewildering. A doctor is sitting in his cabin expecting diseased people to come. If he's sitting there, somebody comes and starts coughing and says, hey, why you are coughing? I'm patient, Baba. No, so much coughing is not good. Somebody comes start vomiting. Hey, why you are vomiting? If one is a patient, diseased, they will have those symptoms. So therefore, the association of devotees is filled with conditioned souls who are sincerely trying to progress. That sincerity must be acknowledged. The effort must be acknowledged. And gradually, one will see that transformation happen. So therefore, to the extent we are tolerant in dealing with various situations, to that extent we will be empowered. And therefore, compared to the talent we have in the Krishna consciousness society, we have not been able to unleash the cumulative power of that talent to the extent it is actually possible because of lack of tolerance. And so it's important that we become more tolerant and serve each other with greater respect and with greater feeling. And that's what the Shrimad Bhagwatam is focusing on, that we can only understand Krishna in that association of devotees. So Bhagwatam means not just book, but Bhagwatam also means the person Bhagavata. The one who is aspiring to serve the Bhagavan is the Bhagavata. So these are very important considerations when you understand the glories of the Shrimat Bhagwatam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. क्वेश्चन हाँ पूछिए. बड़ा बर्निंग क्वेश्चन लग रहा है.
Burning class. Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Lot of things you learned. Prabhuji, my question is these qualities that we are trying to develop in spiritual life, say for example tolerance. Then when we go out to work in corporate environment, then we have to deal with certain situations where people may take undue advantage, because everybody is trying to prove that I am better than you there. So how do we translate these qualities? Obviously, we have to practice in our spiritual life these qualities, but how should we even translate those qualities there, or how should we switch gears, or if not, we can remain the same? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
See, when Arjuna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was proposing to Krishna peace formula. And Krishna said, no, violence. I am going to speak the message of Bhagavad Gita, the book of peace. And after hearing this, start your violence. So that's the Bhagavad Gita, which is sharing the greatest message of peace. But after the Gita ended, the greatest violence was unleashed. So what does it mean? It means that when a certain situation needs a political response, you should respond politically. When a certain situation requires a devotional response, you should respond devotionally. When a situation requires an emotional response, respond emotionally. So you have to appropriately choose your response. Right? You read Giriraj Maharaj's book, I Shall Build You a Temple. So Prabhupada could have said, oh, you're taking our money and you're not giving us, okay, कोई और जमीन ढूंढ लेंगे. But Prabhupada was fighting it out. Right? So you have to choose where to fight. So you have to choose your battles wisely. Many times I have seen devotees becoming fatigued because they are choosing the wrong battles. They are choosing the wrong battle and choosing the long battle. When you know it's not going to work out and still you continue fighting, It's a long battle. No, it's not worth it. Okay. Hare Krishna. But you should take advice of other devotees who have spent more time getting smashed in the corporate world. Because I don't have the credibility to share that experience, because my net corporate experience was only 2 months. And many times organizers of programs, when they are reading out my CV, they get embarrassed to say that also. और बीटेक करने के बाद दो साल काम किया. It says 2 months, but they add. So then there are others who have a lot of experience of handling these situations, who are senior devotee. महाजनो ये न गता सपंथ, है कि नहीं? देखो अमृतानंद प्रभु सेल्फ रियलाइज सोल बैठे हुए पीछे. Any other question? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Recently, most of the time go back to your Ramayana lecture, and you mentioned 3 things in that, which is very nice. That one is the people, principles, and the purpose. Those 3 things. So the qualities you just explained, which very nice. And I try to inculcate that, because what we read and if we apply in practical manner, that is equal to bhakti. So sometimes what happens is that you just mentioned that we have to be in association of devotees and the tolerance happens. But even though you have so much knowledge, at that time, as you said, you have to choose your battle. But at the time, the knowledge doesn't come, right? And as soon as, say, for example, if I did something which was not appropriate as per the knowledge, as soon as you walk out of the temple door, oh, I did this, but then again, oh, but Krishna says I am the reason behind the forgetfulness and the remembrance. So sometimes you are very confused how to inculcate at that particular point, or you can say how to choose your battle wisely.
So first is Sukriti. You have to have a lot of Sukriti. Sukriti basically means pious credits. That means you have to earn through the chanting of the holy names. You have to earn through the studying of the Bhagwatam. You have to earn by hearing, earn by serving. You understand? So devotional service means whatever you are asked to do, you have to do. You have to serve. So, you may see, okay, I'm sitting here giving class or this or that, but in my other, part, there is so much of service which is there. So all of that which we do, all adds up to the Sukriti. So if you are thinking, I will now only study the Bhagwatam like a academic text and, shut on all other things, it will not work like that. So some people say, Prabhu, how to recite shlokas? So I said, the shlokas or the shastra is like recipe book. Recipe book is meant for what? So that you can cook. So if you are hungry now, and then I say, okay, now I am going to share with you the details of how to make pulao. I memorized the pulao recipe. Take this much this much this much this, mix that, this. Then you say, okay, Prabhu, next. Now I have memorized samosa. You say, Arey Baba, theek hai, batao. But you are all thinking at the end, we will get samosa. We will get pulao. But I go on reciting one after other, recipe after recipe after recipe, and say that I have memorized the whole book. And then somebody comes and says, I am illiterate. I don't know how to read also, but I can make khichdi. So which one you will prefer? someone who can recite the entire recipe book or someone who can make khichdi. So the purpose of the scripture is to enable you to become a better servant. So the whole idea is how your response to others' desire can be faster. That's the whole context of scripture for bhakti. After knowing more, if your response is slower, then you have to really question whether the scripture is having the right effect on you or not. So we are studying not to show off our knowledge, but we are studying to speeden our response to others' desire. So that is the basic fundamental principle. So when you do that, gradually over a period of time, you will become more and more mature. That's called Sukriti. Sukriti means ये सारा ज्ञान और ये सारी सेवाएं सब, it will give blessings. So then Sukriti leads to Kripa. Kripa means mercy. So if I am only studying or chanting and concerned only with myself, then there is a limit. You have to translate that into action. When you serve others, help others, this and that. So those blessings also add. Then when there is Sukriti and Kripa, then you get Vivek. Vivek is discrimination, the ability to make the right choices. तो बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है, ऐसे नहीं आ जाएगा. Somebody like Arjuna was experiencing paralysis in his decision making. So it's not overnight. It's a process. Okay? Yeah. Who had raised the hand? Yeah.
So first of all, seeing you in the YouTube and seeing in person gives me nervousness. So such a learned person, please forgive me my mistakes. So in the beginning of your lecture, you have mentioned about
Bhagwatam, Shrimat Bhagwatam.
Calamities.
Yes,
you have
yes,
explained
correct,
about the calamities. So recently, in Sri Vaishnava, one of the my acharya passed away.
Who passed away?
In Srivaliputtur, Venjimor Venkatachari, one of the Sri Vaishnava acharya have passed away for liver cancer. But from the birth, he served Narayan.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very pious and he have initiated people. And why does he has to pass away in liver cancer? That's not the person had any bad qualities.
Correct.
Maybe he have accepted that calamity and he have prepared himself. But hearing and feeling that he's not there is affecting me.
Good. Yes.
So how do you prepare that? You know, in a spiritual path, how can you do that? And that's my first question.
Okay.
And
I think let's do one only. Others you can go to YouTube. Very important question, because many times we feel that spirituality will provide insurance against fate, F-A-T-E. But spirituality provides us insurance against loss of faith, Shraddha. Opening hospital does not translate into disappearance of disease. Opening hospital helps you cope and deal with the disease. So therefore, the material world will always have Adidaivik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik miseries. birth, old age, disease, death is continuing. So Krishna himself makes sure that this situation happens even during his Leelas. So if you look at Ramayana, how things ended for Dashrath Maharaj, how Bharat Maharaj experienced misunderstanding, how Abhimanyu lost his life and what Arjuna had to go through. And so Bhishma Dev looks at the Pandavas and he says, Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam cheta priyam sapaloyat vashe loko vayor iva ghanavali. Just like wind blows the clouds here and there, like that time factor will throw all our plans here and there. We have no control over them. And so the Pandavas are a family who are so talented, so powerful, but how they went through difficulty after difficulty. Yatra dharma suto raja gadapanir brikodara krishnos trikandivamachapam suhurta krishnas tato vipat. Yudhishthir is dharma personified, Bhima is power personified, Arjuna is skill personified, Nakul and Sahadev is loyalty personified, Krishna is well-wisher personified. Still they went through calamity after calamity. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that the normal tendency is for people to think that if I am pious, then I will experience only good. But no. Even the Pandavas, although they were all good, they had to go through so many difficulties because Krishna says, my will is unpredictable. So to follow the word of God is difficult. More difficult to follow than the word of God is the will of the Vaishnavas. Most difficult compared to the word of God and the will of the Vaishnavas is to follow the whim of Krishna. So the whim of Krishna is most unpredictable. After that, the will of the Vaishnavas is very difficult. And the word of God is very, very challenging. So each one is of increasing level of difficulty. And so in the Govardhan Leela demonstrates that how just because Krishna said worship Govardhan, all the Brajavasis started worshipping Govardhan instead of Indra. Years and years they were doing Indra Puja. Life was peaceful in Braj. The moment they followed Krishna, it became disaster. So if you look at, you have seen that picture of Krishna lifting Govardhan and all Brajavasis are surrounding looking at Krishna. You have seen that? What does that show? None of the Brajavasis are looking back to see where is my house. Is my house still intact? Because the rain has taken away their houses and destroyed all their property and their assets and everything. But they are focused on their relationship with Krishna rather than the energies of Krishna. So when the ecstasy of Krishna overwhelms the energy of Krishna, that is what is bhakti demonstrated by the Brajavasis. So therefore, in our own lives, we will experience various situations of difficulty and challenges. But we should look at it as an opportunity to grow, and we should look at it as an opportunity for us to come closer to Krishna. So therefore, the practice of the process, however sincerely we practice, is not an indemnity or insurance against calamity. Okay? In fact, Yudhishthira tells Krishna, my dear Lord, if in future generations people read about Pandavas, how they were smashed repeatedly, they'll be afraid to practice your bhakti. So therefore, very specifically Krishna puts his devotees through those situations like that. Any other question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. You really emphasized the association of the devotees in your lecture. I'm speaking from my personal experience. Like many times when we come in association of devotees, many times we experience that devotees only put us down for practicing our sadhana. Like that's something I have come across. So in
When
those
you say put us down,
yeah, they don't
put
like
us down मतलब क्या वो तो
मतलब वो लोग appreciate नहीं करेंगे like
okay appreciate नहीं करेंगे because you're
like we are practicing Krishna consciousness, chanting 16 rounds. I have came across those situations.
So devotees will not appreciate if you are chanting 16 rounds.
Yes.
And
so
what is their expectation? You should chant 192 rounds. I don't understand.
Yeah. So in those kind of situations,
You're talking about devotees are saying why you are chanting 16 rounds.
Yeah, like they don't. Even though they'll go to the temple, they're practicing, they're devotees, but they won't still like appreciate us also, practicing and progressing in bhakti. So how do you appreciate their association in those kind of situations? Because you mentioned the importance of association of devotees.
Okay, so you have a very unique flavor of experience. What you should do is you should try to inspire them to chant 16 rounds. Because they may not be getting the full conviction why they should be chanting 16 rounds. And basically Prabhupada always said 16 round is a minimum. It's basically the idea, as I said, is to get the habit so that you can enable yourself to be a better servant of Krishna. Because the meaning of the Maha Mantra is, please engage me in your service. But many times when service comes, we start thinking, don't engage me, engage him in your service. Engage them in your service. So therefore, the sincerity of practice is important, and if there are others who are not appreciating what you are doing, as I said, you have to be tolerant, and the Madhyam Adhikari is defined as someone who has faith in Krishna, faith in the devotees, avoids those who seem to be negative and associates with those who are positive. So you choose your association wisely. If you feel here is some people who are always criticizing or negative, and your inspiration in practice goes down in their association, then you probably choose others. So if you say that no, everybody is like that only, then you have to get a third party opinion whether your opinion is right or not. So you will always find somebody who is positive. Okay, so thank you, Damodar Prasad Prabhu, for inviting me here. And my original schedule was supposed to be June 7th, 8th, 6, 7, 8, which got now changed because of Radhanath Maharaj's visit. So therefore, I started first coming to Seattle in 2005. And with home programs in Bellevue, Amritanand Prabhu's house, and so many other programs in those days. And many of the boys were unmarried that time. So over a period of time, this and the deities were in like kind of a garage or something like that when the temple was still under construction. And then 2007, this beautiful temple opened. So seeing the growth of the community and the amazing contribution and service rendered by Harivilas Maharaj, and kudos to his leadership. So it's very, very amazing to see a community develop where you have a temple, now you have 2 temples. Yesterday I also visited the beautiful Balaji temple. A third one? Oh, third one. Okay, good. And then there is like farm and with the cows, and I've never seen a cow entering a temple hall. Like yesterday was a very unique experience for me. I was asking 10 times whether the cow will manage to sit in the midst of kirtans and the loud wampar and kartal and mridang and sound and everything. They say, oh, no, they're... So many wonderful things you are doing, including running a school for the community and food trucks, which is a benchmark. And so in New York, we want to start some food distribution program, and we are requesting our team here to guide on how things can be done there. So some of the very interesting initiatives have now the Western Outreach. We have like a World Meditation Day event happening, and so a lot of wonderful things are happening here, thanks to the very stable, solid, sincere leadership. We have Harivilas Maharaj, Damodar Prasad Prabhu, Namavarta Prabhu, and the board, and all the other leaders who are taking such amazing responsibility to drive this wonderful community forward. In today's day and age, in a world filled with distraction, in a world filled with so much of conflict, this association is a need of the hour, and all of you are really offering an oasis in the desert. And Srila Prabhupada is so pleased with all of you and showering his unlimited blessings upon all of you. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's good to see people on a working day and this many, right? And there are people from outside too. Thank you and welcome to Sri Radhanil Madhav Dham. And we are actually following the vision of Harivilas Maharaj and other Guru Maharaj who come here, and our dear teachers, Sisha Gurus like Gauranga Prabhu, and so many brahmacharis who come and constantly, like 20 years he said. I started coming in 2007, so I know at least for 18 years. And he actually seen our growth also. So you can, in a way, he sees a congregation member. He has seen us grown along with us also, this congregation and everything. And Prabhu is very humble. He says only 2 months of corporate experience on record, but he's the most sought after by corporates for the training. Right? You see, it's probably equal to 200 plus years of experience. All of us, maximum 30 years. Right? So that is the power of being in the right association and the teachings of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, and His Guru Maharaj, His Holiness, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and various other Maharajas. Prabhuji is also in the management of ISKCON, in the GBC. So he takes up a lot of responsibility as part of that, apart from the spiritual care and answering our silly questions sometimes, right? So that's his perfect example for balancing all the things: spirituality, organizational capability, management, and also ability to preach to the most commoners. So all these things we can learn something and we can implement in our various preaching activities here. And as Prabhu mentioned, this year and last year, Guru the Bhakti Studio has started for the Western Outreach, and the youth, the students retreat which has happened with 40 plus students with Rajikar Prabhu and Gaurang Chandra Prabhu cultivating under the guidance of Radheshyam Prabhu. So we are actually also borrowing the good ideas from other places. And our job is only to give the facility and encourage so that we all participate. Whatever capability you have, you can, right? So, and Prabhu's talks are always inspiring, right? So it's always inspiring. But as you said, not just recipes, but how to make khichdi also, right? But also don't read too many scriptures and make a khichdi out of it. Right? So we have Srila Prabhupada literature, that's good enough. Hare Krishna. And Prabhu, thank you. Keep coming and keep inspiring. And tonight is an important day for many of us. Here there are initiations, first initiations and second initiation. There is a huge list, 40 plus people, so it takes time. And so that's why we put it at 4 to 7. But all the initiates should come at 3 o'clock itself. So we be assembled here so that 4 o'clock we can start. And if time permits, we will have Gauranga Prabhu's kirtan or a class after the initiation. We'll see, right? Hare Krishna. I think
Hare
Prasadam time is at
Yeah.
12 o'clock.
We'll
Just
take
check
a
now, whatever time you arranged.
we'll take a group photo here.
Yeah. We all can come here. Prasad ready? They can serve? Oh, Prasad is ready. So after group photo, Prasad. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We all know how to take a large group photo. Keep assembling, please. Quick. All the tall people in the back and my height people in the front. Yeah. Yeah. माता जी इसको जगह दे दो. गौर कृष्ण प्रभु आप यहाँ खड़े हो जाओ बॉर्डर पर. माता जी आपके पास खड़े हो जाएंगे फिर हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है शुरू हो गया. आप भी आ जाओ प्रभु. Come here. No, it's everyone. Make two. The tall people can go back so that they are visible anyway. So that we can make 2 rows, please. And some can kneel down. And I can stand as it is. Say Hari Bol. Don't raise your hands. Don't raise your hands. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Bol. Abhi aa jao. No, she's part of the group. She's part of the group. Hari Hari. Abhi, Prabhu, you come. No. Aja. Hari Hari. Jai. Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So they say Prasadam is ready. So please, you can have go on Prasadam. Hare Krishna.